To witness, it's the 1979 Daytona Motocross. Hello, I'm Ken Squire, standing here on the launching pad. Right behind me, 41 competitors ready to start. Working with me today, Dave Despain.
Ken, this is a good one. Anytime you win at Daytona, you've won the big one. The favorite has to be Bob Hanna, the dominant force in this kind of racing for the last 2 or 3 years. He is really supreme. Everybody else is trying to knock him off that throne. The guy with a good chance to do it won the first motocross here 8 years ago. The old veteran jammer, Jim Weinert, the defending Daytona champ. Number 48, Marty Tripes, deserves a call. He could make it 2 in a row here today.
Last of the field, limbering up for this, the most physical of all motorsports activity. 41 riders from 4 heats, 2 semis, and a consi have qualified for this $31,000 shootout.
Last-minute encouragement for the king of this kind of racing, Bob Hurricane Hanna. The field set. Here they come off the starting gate. Blast across this infield section, a hard left-hand turn, and then in this sandy Florida soil, the twists and turns down to the 180-degree left-hander, and then up toward that long front straightaway where the speeds climb to 70 miles an hour.
Stand by for a start such as you seldom see. 41 strong in this land rush. Ready to go. The Daytona Motocross. Seconds away from a start. They're off. Beautiful start. Now it funnels down to 12 feet wide.
As they rattle handlebars through turn number 1, it's going to be Gary Semics who emerges as the leader. One of the fastest starters in the business. Semics is out front.
And Hurricane Hanna has dropped to 3rd place, last year's Supercross champion.
Sandwiched right in between Marty Tripes, the defending winner of this Daytona race, and it's a land rush.
What an onslaught. Semics out in front, looking for a big win here today. Highly underrated, good rider, very smooth. Here you see him in control. His knees rattling like shock absorbers over this corduroy washboard course.
The start is so critical in motocross. You see how Semics has gotten out front, opened up his lead because he didn't have to battle that traffic in this crowded first lap.
Last year's champion, Marty Tripes, holding on to 2nd place. Hanna, back in 3rd. He's dropped about 10 lengths behind the 2nd place rider.
Jimmy Weinert, who won that first race here 8 years ago, way back in 6th spot as they work their way through lap number 1.
Weinert, who's been hurt, battered, trying to make a tremendous comeback this year. He's already won one of these motocross events.
The key for Semics is to maintain that concentration now. He knows he's got the best in America strung out behind him. He wants to keep them there.
They're in the second half of the course. They're over 70 miles an hour right here. Watch this. Super hoop-de-doos, jackrabbits for that part of the course.
That's a tricky series of whoops right there. They've got to bounce, and they've got to keep the balance, keep that rear wheel down and digging.
It's a hard and fast course, much faster course than we've ever seen here at Daytona before in the 7 previous romps.
Hanna in the yellow has moved right up now to challenge for that number 2 spot as Semics leads them around.
Marty Tripes and Hanna going handlebar to handlebar.
We're working the first of 12 laps of this grueling course. Artificially constructed here, man-made in the infield of the stock car track that is Daytona International Speedway. Gary Semics leading them around.
Semics under a lot of pressure here on a short-term contract and out in front. Here he comes for a high jump. Earlier, I asked Semics about the pressure here today.
I tell you, there's a lot of pressure on all the riders because anymore the competition's so great. There's so many new riders coming up that you have to be in the top 5 or you're going to lose your ride. So the pressure's there for everyone.
That's just what Gary Semics is trying to do. Stay up there with the top 5. That's worth about $100,000 a year if you're a good enough rider.
We've got a change in 2nd place. Bob Hanna roars into that number 2 spot, and he's being pursued by young Orangevale, California Charger Darrell Schultz. Schultz and Hanna running now in the 2nd and 3rd spot.
And here's Schultz making a move on the inside of Hanna. It is Schultz firing his way through. Schultz has taken over in 2nd. Hanna dropping to 3rd.
This youngster is right where Bob Hanna was 2 years ago. He's the new kid on the block. Hanna across pit road. It's slippery. Schultz sideways as they come across that tarmac and back into the sandy infield course.
Marty Tripes back and forth, and there's Weinert over the jump in 5th place.
Semics is stretching his advantage here. Remember now, he has the advantage because he can pick his line and run anywhere on the racetrack he wants to. Everybody else is scrambling for their spot on the track.
Very thick Florida sand track, and we have those 2 riders again from the Yamaha team side by side.
Hannah's not used to running back in the pack. Semics likes to run out front. The question is how long he can maintain in the face of this pressure.
Why is Semics doing so well here today? Here they are up in turn 9.
Here's the charge, too, from Schultz, who's right up to the rear wheel. Again, the line working to his advantage, Ken. That's the key. He can pick the spot where he wants to go. You saw Schultz get blocked there as he tried to make his pass.
So a hole shot by this man here. Semics has put him out in front of the Daytona Supercross. Here they come for the fast part of the course after just one more dive through a mud hole. And watch his legs work this part of the course.
Up high on the outside goes Schultz. Then Hannah running third. Fourth is Tripes. Fifth is Weinert as they work their way to the back of the course.
And we have a pass for the lead. Going side by side down into that latter part of the course. Darrell Schultz is there. He's made his way into first place.
And look at him waggle that front wheel in celebration. This is where he wants to be.
Schultz really turns it on. Puppy's in trouble. Schultz crashing. And the lead goes back to Semics. It is Semics back in front. Schultz falling to 6th place here in the opening laps of the Daytona Supercross. Catch your breeze and feel the same. With Dave Despain, I'm Ken Squire. We're watching Gary Semics lead Hannah, number 1, then Marty Tripes, and into 4th place, Jammin' Jimmy Weinert. Up to 5th moves number 20, who just crashed out here, Darrell Schultz. And on this easy part of the course, look how difficult it is.
Well, you get an idea here, the beating that the suspension takes as they dive down into that hard turn, front and rear wheel bounding back and forth, and they have to absorb all that energy with their arms and legs. Oh, and we've got a rider down, a crash. It's Kent Howerton who bailed off. Well, there's nothing easy about that fall down as he got nailed by a rider behind him, then blasting through the hay bales. This racetrack's going to look like a battlefield when it's over, Ken.
Sweeping around another one of these berms and staying out in front, and we're getting a battle for the lead. Number 27 is there, but he's being challenged.
A new second place man, Marty Tripes, has charged into second spot. Bob Hannah now third. 3 riders go for the lead as they come to the switchback.
Still Semics in front. Tripes trying to be the first man to ever win it 2 years in a row, 2nd place. And Bob Hannah stays 3rd.
You have to watch Hannah every turn of the racetrack. He's a master of passing in these kinds of conditions, but Semics is in command. He is riding flawlessly.
Weinert stays 4th. Semics, leader. You see this wide portion of the course gives them a chance to try any line they want at top speed. Semics is being challenged. There's Hannah in 2nd place. Hannah up on the outside, and again he is repassed as Marty Tripes goes back by him.
Up and down, handlebar to handlebar with Semics leading. Tripes and Hannah really going at it for that number 2 spot. Back into what they call the outfield here, and Hannah again is threatening as Semics leads it.
Bob Hannah staying right there with Marty Tripes. All around the course, those two. Look at the style of Semics as he puts that foot out for balance. He's challenged on the inside by Marty Tripes.
Boy, that's a kamikaze charge, and Semics again slams the door. 25 years old, a veteran of various factory. Oh, no, we've got a pass for the lead. A new leader as Marty Tripes just squirted by on the inside. Semics falls to 2nd, Hannah now 3rd.
Well, all the thrashing and banging, style is everything. In replay, let's watch Marty Tripes and see what he does on this big jump.
First he picks the right line, then at the proper instant jerks the handlebars to get that front end aloft for the proper in-flight trajectory. Knees bent to absorb the shock of landing, the weight back to get the rear wheel down first. A nosedive on that kind of jump can be disastrous. A perfect example of high-flying motocross style from our new leader, Marty Tripes.
With the action, here's Marty Tripes in 1st, Semics in 2nd, Hannah in 3rd. They're approaching the fastest part of the course where they can really try any line they want, David.
Tripes, who won it here a year ago, demonstrating that he really knows the quick way around. Hannah challenging for that number 2 spot, and he just shoulders his way into the runner-up position. Bob Hannah now 2nd.
Marty Tripes 1st, Bob Hannah 2nd, staying there. Here they come for those massive hoop-de-doos.
Here comes Weinert down low trying to get by Semics. Can he do it? A tricky place to pass. Weinert pulls it off. Weinert is now 3rd behind Hannah.
Continuing to lead, Marty Tripes. There's Hannah over that big jump another time.
Tripes, what an up-and-down career. Won his first professional race, the Super Bowl of motocross, at the age of 16. Since then, it's been a mixed bag, but he's really been on the charge the last 2 years, and right now he's out front at the Daytona Motocross.
Tripes working the 7th of 12 laps to decide it all here today.
A virtual replay of a year ago with Tripes and Hanna battling just as they did throughout last season.
Gets a signboard as he comes into another one of the tough parts of the course. Here comes that jump. Beautiful.
Talk about style. There is motocross at its best.
They just never seem to miss.
Hanna playing the waiting game now. He doesn't want to let Tripes get away, but Marty is determined to put as much space between himself and the pack as he can.
How physical is this game, David?
It's one of the most physically demanding sports in the world, Ken, by a medical survey, second only to soccer in terms of the energy that it drains from your body.
We saw number 17, Kent Howardson, in trouble once again. Remember, he crashed a little earlier and somebody ran over him.
Here are the leaders working their way back to the switchback. Marty Tripes out front, Bob Hurricane Hanna in a pursuer's role.
The veteran Jim Weinert maintaining third.
Fourth is Darrell Schultz. Fifth place, Gary Semics off the racetrack, outside the hay bales, trying to get his way back onto the track. He's back in fifth spot. There is Gaylon Mossier sixth, and Danny LaPorte seventh, and it's close for those three spots.
The front 7 riders within 10 seconds of each other on a twisting 12-turn course.
Leaders now working their way through that set of whoop-de-doos, and look how tight they are for those first 3 positions. Again, Weinert taking that characteristic low line.
As we move toward the conclusion of this Daytona Motocross, challenging, going through is Bob Hanna. Hanna takes the lead. Dropping back to second is Marty Tripes. Bob Hanna once again commanded as he did the majority of the races a year ago, this time at Daytona.
Get in. Something to drink. 2 weeks in the desert, and you bring us beer?
Laps for the Daytona Motocross, and notice here, Jim Weinert has passed Marty Tripes, moved to second place behind Bob Hanna. Earlier, we asked Hanna what his edge was in this competition.
I really want to win. That's all. I don't want to do a lot of other things right now. I want to win races, and. You got to remember that during the week. It's easy to say that on the Sunday. Everybody here today wants to win as bad as I do, probably. But Monday, they won't. And if you can remember that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that you want to win on Sunday, you'd be a lot better off.
Hanna wanting to win on this weekend, and right behind him a man just as determined, number 21, Jim Weinert, in second place, about 3 bike lengths behind. Hurricane Bob Hanna, number 1 in the yellow. Weinert riding now just about 2 bike lengths behind. I asked Weinert about the conditions at the end of this race, what they would be.
It's going to be very fast. It's going to be rough. This year I'm very strong, feeling good. I won the first opening race of the Supercross Series, and now I'm ready to go after Bob Hanna.
How healthy are you? We've seen you win when you were hurt. How healthy this year?
I'm very healthy. I've gained about 10 pounds in muscle. I've been running hard and riding my motorcycle a lot, and everything's working well. I'm really pumped.
It's come down to this. It's one-on-one. Hanna versus Weinert to win the Daytona Supercross.
What a classic matchup. Jim Weinert, the veteran, one of the original exponents of this decade-old sport in America. Hanna, part of that new breed of rider who were raised on mini bikes from the time they were 7 years old and are excellent racers by the time they reach their late teens. And these two guys are going to decide it. In the last lap, it's all come down to a matter of experience, skill, determination, guts, working their way through traffic. Bob Hanna and Jim Weinert at Daytona.
Final moments of the event. We are now in the last lap. Hanna in front by 2 bike lengths. Weinert trying to close ground. Still another time. Here they come for the jump.
The question, can he find a place to pass? Up over the jump, ducking to the inside. Hanna's off the line. Weinert gets by. Jim Weinert has taken the lead.
Hanna dropping to second. We're in the last lap. Can he overtake? Can he overhaul Jim Weinert? He pulls up alongside, loses ground again.
Hanna has got to be incensed by this situation. He's led it down to the last few hundred yards. Now Weinert comes like a thief in the night and steals that lead away.
Another time, Hanna pulling up, loses ground. 5, 6 bike lengths back goes Hurricane Bob Hanna. Weinert, a lot of people questioned if he had the staying power. He sure looks like it right now.
Weinert is really kicking up his heels, kicking up those rooster tails. Here's third place, Marty Tripes, the early leader in the event, but it's Jim Weinert pursued by Bob Hanna as we come down to the final series of turns.
Jim Weinert, who won the first Daytona Motocross ever in front. 27 years old, oldest rider on the field.
Hanna trying desperately all over the racetrack, trying to reel him back in as they come down toward the finish. Tripes, your third place rider right here. He's way out of it. It's going to be a two-man battle.
Here at the end of the course. 2 more jumps, 1 more mud hole. It's all over. Can Hanna overhaul in this last little distance? Here he comes, moving in again. Hanna trying to reel in Jim Weinert, who has stung him on the last lap, the last big jump.
A lap rider in front of him. He's got it, Ken. He's home free.
Weinert wins it. Jim Weinert victorious. Here is Marty Tripes finishing in third.
Fourth place goes to Darrell Schultz. What a ride he put on, but what a finish for Jim Weinert.
40,000 people welcoming Jim Weinert as #1 here at Daytona in motocross. Let's look again, David, at what happened in that critical pass by Jim Weinert.
Here comes Weinert high in the air. Hanna already on the ground. Weinert dives down to the inside, and this is a very uncharacteristic mistake for Hanna. I'm not sure he knows that's Weinert. He may not know who's inside him there. He moved over as if to expect a kamikaze charge from a lapped rider. Now he's helpless because Weinert has the line. Hanna is out in the loose step, spinning, churning, can't find any traction. That's the moment right there when this race was won.
That was how the wind was taken out of the Hurricane. Bob Hanna, the 1977 winner of the event, dismounting in 1979 and also ran. Our colleague David Hobbs is down with a winner, Jim Weinert.
Jimmy, you ate dirt there for 11 laps, but on the 12th you went past the checkered flag. How do you feel?
Well, I feel pretty good. I'm a little winded, but I think Bob's a little winded too. I got a decent start. I messed up a little bit, so then I relaxed, and I knew I could wear all the other guys down because they're not in shape, you know.
Well, thank you, Hobbs. Another typical Oh My Heart Daytona finish, Dave Despain.
Well, we've seen so many of them at Daytona, and proof today that the old guard dies hard. Jim Weinert won his first one here 8 years ago. 3 years of disappointment, 3 years of injury and heartbreak. Today, he's king of the hill at Daytona International.
How does one keep going in a game like this?
I think in Jim Weinert's case, it's just sheer grit and determination.
And here are the final standings on this great Daytona Motocross. It's Jim Weinert in the super event finishing in first, with Bob Hanna coming home in second place. Marty Tripes was third, and the kid to watch for time to come, Darrell Schultz, was in fourth, with Danny LaPorte fifth. For Dave Despain and David Hobbs, I'm Ken Squire. That's the story on this year's Daytona Motocross.